Swiss Army Man is directed by the Dan brothers, Dan Kwan and Daniel Schwerniet? No? And this film stars Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe, and there's a lot of Dans in this film that are involved in this entire project. Okay, now I need to describe and give the plot of this film. Not the entire, obviously, but the synopsis of what this film is about. Let's have a try. So Paul Dano is stranded in a deserted island, just hopeless, out of hope. There is nothing for him to even reach out to anymore. He's got nothing to give, so he wants to take his own life, tragically. As the rope is hung around his neck, he pretty much sees a dead body just stranded on the shore. Just washed up, stranded on the shore, which leads him to not killing himself. And so he wants to help this body, but it's a dead corpse. It's quite flatulent as well, though. And so, magically and miraculously, this body has the ability to be quite gassy. It's a very gassy body, and so it can fart, and it turns into a jet ski. And so Paul Dano rides Daniel Radcliffe. That sounds wrong. He rides Radcliffe as a jet ski, and they get off the island and they go somewhere else, and he's riding a jet ski. I think I did it. I think I have described what this film is about. I haven't actually given anything away. That is pretty much the first 2 minutes of this entire film. I'm not kidding. So I have wanted to review this film for quite some time. I watched it back in 2016 to really look at the best films of 2016. I sort of forgot about it, and I was recently on the phone with a friend of mine a few weeks ago, and he wanted to watch this film. He hasn't seen it yet, and I told him definitely check it out. So that led me to watching it again after so many years, and I gotta say something. This film is odd. It's a strange one. It is thought-provoking. It is so weird, but I love it. Swiss Army Man offers that adventurous time when you're watching a film. When you're the viewer and you're watching what's going on, you want to just be having an experience that is so rewarding, and I have got to say that this film offers you that. It's impossible to categorize what this film is. It's adventure, it's a buddy comedy, it's just so weird. This is a weird film. It's surreal. It is surreal. I don't know. Is it? It is just outrageously fun and surprisingly very deeply affecting. But before I talk more about what this film is and how I want to describe what this film really is, I want to talk about the reception of this film. Not everyone loves it, obviously. This is a downright ridiculous film. This is ridiculous. This film is completely ridiculous. Before you go into watching this film, know this film is just so messed up. There are people that detest this film. They hate it, and there are people that love it. I'm one of those people that happens to love this film. So obviously back in 2016 there was the Cannes Film Festival, and where this film was screened for the audience. People walked out of this film. People actually walked out during this film. They saw a person, a dead body, farting, and they were like, nope, we're not having this. It's too different. Let's just leave and not even give the film a chance. That is tragic. That's tragic. That is just so stupid. It's so awful, especially in an era of film where it's so much relied on the high budget blockbuster franchises such as the superhero stuff and the sequels and the reboots and whatever hell is going on. You need films like this. You need films like this you need films like this that will make you think about it after even watching it. And this film exactly offers that. It's just too different. You can't compare it to anything else, and that's the best thing about this film. It's wholly unique and completely original. You can't compare it to anything else. That is what Swiss Army Man is. The directors of this film are music video directors. If you have seen the video for Turn Down for What, it is so weird. It's so messed up. It's in the same style, but as a film. But let's go to the performances. Daniel Radcliffe. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I have been, I always will be. Fantastic Beasts, no. But I love Daniel Radcliffe. I've seen him in interviews. He is such a great persona that he has. He's such a likable guy. But this film, Daniel Radcliffe, his best film and his best performance by far. I don't care what anyone says. He is glorious in this film. He is comedy gold in this film. Anyone who thinks that it's not that difficult to play a dead body, watch this film and you'll see how difficult it is. He has to sell every single stiff of emotion in this entire film. Every single emotion and every single expression counts. He has to sell all of this through stiff lips and a glassy stare. It's a performance so astonishingly subtle that every little bit of moment counts, and it just tells so much about the character and the story and his bond with Paul Dano. You may think that playing a dead man doesn't really require that much acting talent, but if you watch this film, definitely reconsider that assessment, because he is the reason for all those good laughs in Swiss Army Man, and he does them, and he is the result of them by being a dead corpse. Paul Dano is one of the most underrated actors of our time. He was in Prisoners. He was great in the Beach Boys biopic as well. I loved him directing Wildlife. He is so talented. But in this film, the bond and the chemistry that he has with Daniel Radcliffe works so well. It works very, very well. Their comedy chemistry is so good, interacting with each other, being so adventurous, finding out what else this person can do, the way he reacts to what this dead corpse could do for him. One time he can chop wood up, one time he can burn things, one time he can literally give out drinking water. What the hell is the script? Honestly, I think if anyone thinks it's just a very stupid film about a farting dead guy who does all these magical things, I would say definitely give it another thought, give it another go, watch it one more time, because I think you would definitely understand more about what you just witnessed. It's a deep, important message wrapped up in a somewhat childish and a very symbolic way. The humor, it delivers a very deep, affecting tale of isolation, loneliness, and love, and the ethics and the importance of relationships between human beings. It just changes your perspective on the film. And I guarantee that this film will require a lot of multiple viewings to really appreciate what they were trying to do. It is one of the most peculiar films I've ever seen in my entire life. It's the entire point of this entire film. On the surface, it's a very childish way of presenting a film. Yes, it's a dead guy who's farting a lot. Haha, the kids are gonna love this. It's not for kids. No, it's not for kids. No, not for kids. It's an R-rated film. I think another way that I can really describe this comedy is just a gonzo bonkers film. It's bursting with limitless creativity in both its form and content. I gotta say, the soundtrack is so special. I love this soundtrack. It's so different as well. What they've done with it, adding these vocals as well. Usually in scores you have the incredible instrumental sound effects and the soundtracks and all these instruments, but in this one there's a bit more vocal added to it, and it just fits in with the style of it so well that I just couldn't help it, especially in the montage scenes. The film has a message on how society is defined by its lack of freedom. People are afraid of expressing themselves, especially when, for example, metaphorically farting as well. Where is this going? I don't know. But how we are seen as weird or freakish because we express ourselves. The bond between the characters and those underlying themes, they really did allow me to enjoy the film more. It is an exploration of why society has made all these rules to tell us what is acceptable versus what is weird or gross or inappropriate, such as farting. In a weird way, the whole farting corpse film is one of the most interesting explorations of the society norms that we live in, all these rules that we have to live by because we're afraid of what people are gonna think. That is where Daniel Radcliffe, his character, comes into play, because he hates that sort of thing. He says, why would we want to live on Earth? Because it just sounds so depressing. because he is being taught all this by Paul Dano's character, who is a very sensitive and a very insecure person. He is quite cautious. He is quite sensitive as to what people might think about him. Both of these characters learn things from each other as to what humans do on Earth. We laugh, we love, we feel things. Honestly, the final line of this film pretty much sums up everything better than I ever could. It was perfect. In terms of flaws, I will say pretty much that the middle act sort of lost its way in terms of pacing. I felt like I sort of lost my interest just a little bit, with not much interaction between the characters, not really knowing where the story was going, but it definitely picked its way back up in the final act. The final act, in terms of its ending, I don't think it perfectly stuck the landing, because I felt like it could have been handled a little bit better in terms of being a little less ambiguous, because I'm not really sure what's actually happened. There's a lot of theories out there, which I love. Either way, I love this film. I think despite just a little bit of those flaws, everyone needs to see this, regardless of what you will think about this film. Give it a chance, please. Give it a chance, definitely. It is very different, but we need to support more films like this. I'm going to give Swiss Army Man an A-. I had fun talking about this, definitely. I will review much more later. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon.